Okay, I'm just waiting for notification of this to appear on the screen. Okay, the meeting is now recording, so I'll begin by taking the sudderant for the Clydesdale Area Committee on Tuesday the 22nd of June 2022. I can see that we have present Councillor Allison. I have apologies from Councillor Barker. I can see that we have Councillors Corbett, Councillor Gowland, Councillor Hamilton, Councillor Horsham, Councillor Lambie. Do we have Councillor Lockhart? No. I have apologies from Councillor Logan. We have Councillor Marsh, Councillor McCallan, Councillor McClyman and Councillor Shearer. Officers present today are myself, Carol Lyon and Lynn Wiley. I'll hand back to yourself, Chair.
Thanks, Carol. So we'll just go straight into business. So the first item is declarations of interest. Does anybody have any declarations of interest? At this point, I'll declare that I have in Cargill. I am a member of Cargill Club. Thanks. Julia?
Yes, I was going to say I wasn't sure how easy it is for you to see me. That I would like to declare an interest on the community grants of items A, J and L, please.
Thanks, Julia. Any other interests to be declared? Is that us? Fine, thanks. Number 2 on the agenda is Play Scheme grant applications for 22-23, pages 3 and 4. Carol, would you like to speak on that? Thanks.
Thank you, Chair. So this is the standard annual report submitted in respect of the Play Scheme grant applications. There is only one application for committee's consideration today, and the recommended amount is in line with the guidance noted at paragraph 3.2. So the amount recommended is £600, and this amount is included in the financial position in the community grants report, which is next on the agenda. If I can refer members back to the recommendations detailed in paragraph 2.1, and would ask that the report be approved. Thank you.
I'll agree that report.
Seconded.
Any?
Sir Allison has his hand up.
Yeah, just wait to say any questions, Alec?
Yeah, not specifically in this application, quite happy for it. Last year we got funds carried over from the previous year because of COVID. Has that happened again? Or can you tell us, well, has it happened again or not?
Yes, it has. I think it's further on in the report in item 3, if I remember, but I did ask Carol this at the pre-agenda, and there's quite a considerable amount of money, and I think the two amounts for 2 years comes to about 25,000. There it's there. 26,227 has been carried forward, so we're really, really healthy. So that's good and positive for us going forward. Alec, is there anything else you wanted to know?
No, that was it.
Right. Okay, anybody else got any other questions? I don't see any other hands. Thank you. So we're on to number 3, the community grant applications, pages 5 to 10. Sorry.
Thank you, Chair. So this is the standard report which is submitted to committee in respect of community grant applications. We have 12 applications on the report for consideration this time around. A summary of the financial position is provided in section 5 of the report. And there's also the 6 applications which were approved under delegated authority from the 2021-22 budget, which are detailed in Appendix 1. If I can refer you back to the recommendations detailed in paragraph 2.1, so we're looking for approval of the 12 community grants, and that the grants dealt with under delegated authority be noted. Thank you, Chair.
Thanks, Carol. Would you like to take this one at a time? I see there's a couple of hands up here. Would you rather we go through this one at a time, but we'll maybe go through the hands first? And I don't know who was first there.
We've got Councillor Corbett.
Councillor Corbett. Poppy, thanks.
Just a quick one on applicant section E, Barn Buddies. They've requested £1,000, but the recommended award is £250. Why is it so much lower than everybody else? And could we consider giving them more money?
I think I can answer this. It's because it's a start-up cost, and unfortunately, if you go in with a start-up cost, 250 is the limit, Poppy.
Right.
It's something that we're going to be looking at next week. That the area chairs are gathering together to discuss the amounts that we're given. So it might be something that another chair might raise as well, to look at them. Lindsay, you've got your hand up.
It was the same question actually, just about why, but I was just wondering what Barn Buddies is as well. Obviously they're a startup, but I was what they've put on their application.
Carol can look that out for you, Lindsay.
Thank you.
So it says it's Barn Buddies Community Internet Company. I'm just trying to find their actual application form and see what we have. Okay, so it says it's Barn Buddies Community Interest Company. They're currently organising an organisation website. It appears to be based in Carluke. And its aims are to provide mobile equine facilitated learning and therapy, offering inclusive activities to those faced with physical, emotion, learning or behavioural barriers in accessing existing groups in the community. Their main activities are groundwork exercises, games and activities to explore communication, well-being, self-awareness, risk awareness, and how to look after the ponies, comparing this with looking after our own needs.
Is that okay, Lindsay, or do you want any other information? You okay with it?
It sounds quite interesting. So.
Okay, so do you want to go through it one at a time, or, oh no, there's another hand. Mark, sorry.
Hi, thank you very much, Chair. It's just a general question. I was looking through the different applications, and we've had this conversation over and over again the last few meetings, and there doesn't seem to be any sort of, I'm looking at the sort of percentages awarded against some of them, and there doesn't seem to be any sort of consistency within it. You know, the amount being awarded. Is there a reason behind that, Catherine?
Yeah, originally, when I was given the paperwork from Carol, the pre-agenda, most things were at 60%. And as you know, the chair and the area committee can vary that if they think they want to. There is going to be a discussion again at this group, because in my thinking of it is, if somebody's asking for 300, to give them 60% has been a wee bit miserable. So we're going to look at how we can change that. But if there's something on it you want to change, if we did it one at a time, we could do that if you want. It might make it difficult with Julia's. Julia's got 3 to go in and out, hasn't she? Yeah. So that was the reason behind. They're not originally. The staff had put them in at 60%, but I kind of changed them, because given that we've got quite a bit of money to spend here, I don't know why. I don't think we should be miserable with it, to be honest.
Well, I mean, sorry, I can't come back in, Chair. I did raise this before at a few other Clydesdale meetings, and I certainly welcome the increased amount. And I was asked, I had put that forward before, and the previous, I was outvoted before, along with my colleague Richard Locker, but I certainly welcome it, the increased amount.
Thanks, Mark. So, oh, sorry, David.
Thanks, Chair. I'm happy to hear that there is going to be discussions between the chairpersons of the area committees. I would hope that out of that, a set of rules would apply to our actions, and then we can put this discussion to bed, because it has been raised on many occasions and we're all out of the shop. A set of rules that we all stick to, and that's it. Best way to go forward. Thanks.
Thanks, David. I don't know whether you'll get a set of rules that we'll all stick to, because at the end of the day, it always has to come back to the area committee, and you can vary it as you want. And that is the issue. And I don't think we should be taking that away for the members of the area committee. But we'll see how the one goes with the chairs, and see what we come up with.
If we have guidelines, Chair, that we predominantly stick to, we all know where we're coming from. On individual merits, we can start, we could change it if the committee felt that way. but I think that's a dangerous thing to do, because we could all have pet hobby horses or pet causes that we want to give 100% to. Whereas if we have a set of rules that we stick to, everybody knows where they're coming from.
Thanks, David. Alec?
It depends whether you're going through them individually or not. I could raise it then, but just in what David's saying, we already have guidelines for whether it is a set-up application or whether it's for equipment. We already have that, and we already have the flexibility that we can change it here within the meeting depending on the availability of funds. So we already have these guidelines. Yeah, the ones that you... So you want to go through them individually, or will I raise my questions just now?
Well, just to go back to what you said, Alec, yeah, those guidelines won't be broken by the Area Committee because they are set in stone, the likes of for an outing or an outing with an entry fee. So we don't change them, and we can't change them, but it's the other ones that are a wee bit, you can decide yourself what you want to pay out, basically. So are you happy with us going through one at a time, or do you want to just, what's best for everybody?
I'm happy one at a time. I'm not precocious about it.
Okay, so Carol's got it all worked out here. There's certain ones that we can go through without any declarations. So we've got B is first.
All right.
Sorry, Julia.
Yeah. Sorry, I just wanted to come in on the back of the discussion previously. As regards the rules, I realise there are criteria and rules that organisations have to adhere to when they make an application. Certainly, as part of the discussions next week and going forward, I'd certainly be keen to see further information appear on our papers to be able to, and I know that we can ask questions and there may be some information available from the clerk, but some further information about particularly the community benefit and what the group intends to do with the money would be beneficial.
That's probably a fair point, Julian. It might save some time for the clerk at the actual meetings, so we'll raise that if I remember next week at the meeting. Thanks, Julia. That's a good idea. So we'll start with B then. So that's the Scottish Retired Teachers Association. 250 is eligible, and we're recommending 250. So there's nowhere to go in this one. Are you okay with that?
Okay.
So agreed.
Seconded.
Right, thanks. So we're on to C, which is the Erdico Women's Rural Institute Bigger, 200. It's an outing, recommended 200. Again, nowhere to go in that, so I'll agree that.
Seconded.
Right, I think we're on to D. That's the Clydesdale Community Concert Band. They've asked for £1,000 for equipment. We've recommended 720. Is everybody happy with that? Yep, so I agree, 720.
That's seconded.
We have E, Barn Buddies Community Interest. They've asked for 1,000, and as we've heard, they can only have 250 because they're a start-up organisation. I'll agree that. Is everybody happy with that?
Agreed.
Seconded.
F is Wild Things Scotland CIC Bigger, equipment and materials. They were asking for 934. We've recommended 600. Is everybody happy with that? Oh, Alec, you've got your hand up.
Yeah, could you... Not that I'm disagreeing again. I'd just like to know more about this organisation. Quite honestly, I haven't heard of it. Just like a little bit more information.
Carl's just fishing it out, information.
Thank you. Okay, so their forum states that their aims and objectives are to improve the health and well-being of children, young people, adults and families through the delivery of outdoor learning, oblique nature connection and forest school programmes. Their main activities are after-school clubs, pre-toddler groups, forest school programmes, family sessions, holiday schemes, women's group, tool sessions, nature art sessions. And it is estimated that 50 to 100 people regularly participate in the organisation's activities.
Is there a, sorry, Chair, through you, is there a contact name?
Yeah, there is. The application was made by a Claire Knox, and it says that the organisation meets in Bigger and Lanark.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
So that was did we approve that one? No.
No.
Right. Okay, so I would approve that one.
Agreed.
Seconded.
And then H.
H is Abington Bowling Club equipment, 696. The recommendation is 300. I think that's because it's a sporting organisation. Is that correct, Carol? So there's nowhere to go in that, but if you've got a question, Alec?
No, sorry, my hand's still up. Apologies.
Didn't confuse the chair. I'm bad enough.
Give you,
Thanks. So I'll
give you 2
agree.
shovels and tell you to take your pick.
So we'll agree Abington Bowling Club at 300.
That's seconded.
Agreed.
And then K.
Now we have K, which is Lead Hill Silver Band. They've asked for 556, so we're recommending 500 there. Is that agreed? Agreed.
Seconded.
Okay, so now we have Councillor Mars has declared an interest in items A, J and L. Councillor Mars, if I could ask you to leave the meeting and I'll re-invite you once consideration has concluded. Okay, I can confirm that Councillor Mars has now left.
So we have application A, which is Kitfulbank Homing and Sporting Club. They've asked for 270 and we've recommended 270. It's probably because it was such a small amount of money. We decided it was better just to give them the 270. Is anybody on at Sporting Club? So is that? Yeah, Sport Club. So is everybody happy with that? I don't see any hands, so I'll agree that.
Agreed.
Seconded.
Now we're on to J, which is St Nicholas Preschool Playgroup. They've asked for £480 for materials. We're recommending 450 here. Any hands up? So I'll agree the 450. Has anybody else got anything? No. Oh, Lindsay, sorry.
Just wondering why it's 450, not the 480, considering it's 30 quid.
Happy to change it if you do.
I mean, you may as well just
proposal?
use.
Is that a proposal, Lindsay? Right.
Yeah.
Lindsay proposes 480. I would second that. Is that agreed?
Agreed.
And we're on to L now. Let me see, where's L? Over the page. That's Lanark and District Archaeology Society, outing and entrance fees, £250, and that is what they can get. So there's nowhere to go in that. So I would agree 250. No hands up. Thank you.
Seconded.
So I think I can get Julia back in.
Okay.
Thanks.
I'll just invite her back in, Chair.
That's what I have to leave.
Yes.
I need to leave and it's a long walk, so I'll see you soon.
Sorry, I am not currently seeing Councillor Mars.
See you, Jay. Just get to the cargo copy, read it out.
Can kick off now that we've got a new chair. Give me a hard time.
Okay, I think we now have Councillor Mars back in the meeting. Can you just confirm that you can hear us, Councillor Mars?
Yes, I can, thanks.
That's lovely, thank you. Okay, and Councillor McClymont had declared an interest in Community Grant G, which was the Cargill House Club. So Councillor Gowland will take the chair for this item of business.
Okay, so next one is the Cargill House Club Lanark. Amount requested £300 and recommendation is 200. Should we go for the 200? Is everyone okay with that? Don't see any hands.
Agreed.
Agreed.
Okay, and can someone second that, please?
I'll second it.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, if you bear with us just one moment, Councillor McClymont's just coming back into the room.
I'm sure it's easier virtually than it is when you're sitting in this room, especially such a big room. So I think, where are we? So I have no urgent business. So I'd like to thank everybody for attending the meeting. And I'd like to ask the clerk to stop the recording.
Chair, just
sorry,
before you do
Alec,
that,
yeah.
could you give us some indication as to the meeting you're having, the chairs are having, and the purpose of it? Is there anything of interest for ourselves?
I think the outcome will be of interest to yourselves because I think there's been discussions at the other area committees as well about the amount of money that we're handing out and the levels, and for some consistency. So there's a discussion regarding that, and I presume we'll then bring that back to the area committee. I don't know how it will get actually rectified. Do you know, Carol?
I'm not 100% sure how it will be dealt with. I think we maybe just need to see what happens at the meeting and kind of take it from there. But obviously feedback will need to be provided to all area committee members.
Susan Somerville thinks attending the meeting, so she'll be handling it and dealing with whatever the outcome is from that. Mark, you've got a question?
It's not. It's sort of to yourself or Carol. When you go along to this meeting, see from like the Clydesdale area, are we allowed to supply you with sort of any questions or anything like that to take forward on behalf of the area, or any suggestions or anything? Do we just get in touch with yourself? Are we allowed to do that?
Well, I think if you've got anything you want me to raise at the meeting, certainly, but it's quite a way there's no agenda as such. It's really just to discuss the actual grants going forward. I think some people felt that some of them were pretty low. So if you've got a suggestion, happy to take it along and see what the rest think. We'll just try and get a consensus.
That's where it stops. I've not got a suggestion. It was just in case something just sprung into my mind.
Right, thanks.
Alex. Sorry, no, I Chair. The reason I asked the question is, had it raised recently that some of the smaller charities require entertainment licences for carrying out their activities for raising funds. Now, these licences last 3 years, and they haven't been able to use them for the last 2 years if they're in that time scale, and now needing to reapply. And they can't get anything through the licensing scheme because they haven't been able to use them, etc., because of the rules. And also within the grants here, licenses are currently exempt from being applicable. So that was one area that I was hoping that we could get some flexibility in allowing not individuals or businesses, but charities, the ability to claim, put an application in for grant funding to be able to apply for their entertainment licence. Whether that be long term or not, I certainly think it would be good at this time when we're all trying to recover from, well, our organisations are trying to recover from COVID. I have discussed it with various other groups, and there is a general acceptance, but I think that would be a good one to bring up if we could vary the rules of what is applicable.
Thanks, Alec. Could you maybe drop an email so that I don't forget that that's your question?
Will
you
do.
Don't mind. Thanks. David, you've got your hand up.
Yeah, it was just to ask Alec a question. Are you asking that this committee gives grants to a voluntary organisation to apply for to pay for a licence application to South Lanarkshire? So South Lanarkshire's paying itself.
Basically, yes.
I think that,
David,
I don't think that's allowable under the rules, Alec.
No, I've already checked. It is.
All right. Okay, I'll stand corrected.
That's fine. Okay, so if you could put that in writing to me, Alec, I'll certainly raise it at the meeting next week. No more questions. Thank you, everybody, for attending. Have a nice day. Bye.
Thanks, Chair. Bye.
Bye. Cheers.
Thanks, Chair.
Cheers.